Most men think attracting women requires massive effort. Constantly proving themselves, agreeing with everything she says, and bending backward to impress her. But what if the truth is the exact opposite? The secret is that attraction isn't about working harder but working smarter. The more effort you put into winning her, the more likely you will push her away. Women don't fall for men who try too hard. They fall for men who naturally create attraction without effort. In this video, we'll break down 3 key mistakes men make that sabotage attraction without them even realizing it. More importantly, we'll reveal exactly what to do instead, simple shifts in mindset and behavior that make attraction effortless. By the end, you'll see why confidence always beats approval seeking, why less is more when it comes to flirting, and how to flip the power dynamic in your favor. And here's the best part: you don't have to be naturally gifted at this. You just need to understand how attraction works. Stay with me until the end for a final secret to make this process 10 times easier. Let's dive in. First, let's look at the 3 mistakes that most men make. Mistake 1: being too agreeable. Being overly agreeable is one of the men's most common relationship mistakes, especially in the early stages. The belief is simple yet flawed. If you always agree with a woman, never challenge her opinions, and consistently follow everything she says, she will like you more. On the surface, this approach seems logical. After all, who doesn't appreciate someone who shares the same views and never argues? But in reality, this kind of behavior has the opposite effect. Women are incredibly perceptive when it comes to authenticity. They can sense when a man is not genuine, which often raises red flags. She will notice if you find yourself constantly nodding along, laughing at jokes that aren't funny, or agreeing with opinions you don't indeed hold. Instead of seeing you as a strong, confident man with his thoughts and values, she will begin to question your sincerity. She may wonder if you are manipulating her approval rather than being accurate. Beyond inauthenticity, excessive agreeableness signals a lack of confidence. A man who never expresses a different opinion, never stands firm on his beliefs, or always defers to the woman's perspective may come across as weak. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities in a man, and when a woman sees that you are unwilling to assert yourself or voice your thoughts, her attraction will start to fade. Strength in a relationship is not about dominance, but about being secure in who you are. Women are drawn to men who can respectfully disagree, have their values, and engage in stimulating conversations rather than simply echoing everything they say. There is also a subconscious aspect to this dynamic. When a woman feels that a man is too agreeable, she may begin to test him, either intentionally or unconsciously. She might push boundaries, make unreasonable demands, or even express opinions she doesn't fully believe to see if he will unthinkingly follow them. If he continues to comply without hesitation, her respect for him diminishes. A man too eager to please may seem desperate, which is never attractive. The more he tries to win her over by sacrificing his identity, the less value he appears to have. A major misconception in dating is that having things in common automatically creates attraction. While shared interests can strengthen a bond, attraction is built on a deeper, more complex level. Passion, confidence, and the ability to stand alone are far more potent than simply liking the same movies, music, or hobbies. A woman is more likely to be drawn to a man who stands his ground, expresses his genuine thoughts, and isn't afraid to disagree respectfully. Actual chemistry is created through dynamic exchanges, not passive agreement. So, how does a man avoid falling into the trap of being overly agreeable? The key is balance. Being kind and respectful is essential, but that doesn't mean suppressing your true self. If you disagree with something, express your opinion calmly and confidently. If she suggests something you're not interested in, be honest rather than pretending to enjoy it. Having a backbone doesn't mean being argumentative or difficult. Having a clear sense of who you are and not being afraid to show it. Men who are comfortable with themselves and unafraid of a woman's reaction when speaking their minds are far more attractive than those who bend backward to avoid disagreement. Attraction thrives on polarity, the push and pull of personalities that complement each other, rather than simply mirroring one another. When a woman sees that you are capable of independent thought, and that you respect her but don't need her validation to feel confident, her respect and attraction for you will grow naturally. At the core of it all, the real issue with being too agreeable comes from fear of rejection, of not being liked, of saying the wrong thing. But the actual connection isn't built on fear, it's built on authenticity, respect, and the confidence to be yourself, even when that means standing apart from the crowd. Mistake 2. Hiding sexual desire. Many men believe that suppressing any signs of sexual interest will make a woman more attracted to them over time. They adopt a patient, careful approach, waiting for her to develop feelings naturally before they express any romantic or physical desire. While this strategy may seem like a way to build trust and respect, it often has the opposite effect. Women typically experience responsive sexual desire rather than spontaneous attraction. They need a man to create that spark, not simply wait for it to ignite on its own. When a man hides his sexual interest, he unknowingly sends signals of indifference. Instead of appearing as a potential romantic partner, he risks being seen as just a friend, or even worse, as someone who lacks the confidence to express what he truly wants. In a woman's mind, a lack of voiced desire can mean a lack of attraction, leading her to assume that he either does not see her in a romantic light or is unsure of himself. This ambiguity causes her to lose interest, leaving her open to the attention of someone who confidently asserts his attraction. Attraction thrives on chemistry, built through shared experiences, flirtation, and a mutual acknowledgement of romantic and physical connection. When a man suppresses his desires to appear respectful or avoid rejection, he deprives the interaction of the energy needed to create attraction. Women are not drawn to hesitation, they are drawn to men who confidently express what they want while respecting boundaries. A man who waits indefinitely for a woman to make the first move or realize her feelings is often left waiting. In contrast, a more assertive man steps in and naturally establishes a deeper connection. Many men mistakenly believe that making their sexual interest known too early will make them seem pushy or inappropriate. The truth is that attraction does not flourish without desire. It grows when there is a balance of emotional connection and physical chemistry. The key is not to suppress interest, but to communicate it confidently, naturally, and non-needy. This can be as simple as maintaining intense eye contact, engaging in playful teasing, or expressing genuine appreciation for her presence in a way that subtly conveys attraction. By failing to assert attraction, a man often invests significant time and energy in a situation where the romantic connection never materializes. He might spend months getting to know a woman, building emotional rapport, and hoping that his patience will pay off, only to be blindsided when she eventually starts dating someone else. Someone who was clear and confident in his intentions from the start. Women are drawn to men who take the lead in courtship. This does not mean being aggressive or inappropriate, but instead having the confidence to express attraction in a way that is natural and engaging. When a man is open about his interest in a respectful way, he allows a woman the opportunity to respond in kind, creating an atmosphere where mutual attraction can develop. The lesson here is clear. Suppressing sexual interest in the hope that a woman will eventually feel attracted to you is a losing strategy. Women need to feel chemistry for a romantic connection to form, and that chemistry starts with a man's ability to express desire without fear of rejection confidently. Attraction is not something that passively happens, it is something that must be cultivated. By embracing this truth, a man can avoid wasting time on relationships that will never progress, and instead focus on building connections that have genuine potential. Mistake 3. Over-qualifying himself. When building a connection with someone, particularly when trying to impress a woman, it's easy to fall into the trap of over-explaining your positive traits. Men often make the mistake of trying too hard to prove their boyfriend material by listing off their qualities, how disciplined, kind, or loyal they are. On the surface, it seems like a reasonable approach. You want to show her that you can be a great partner. However, this strategy often backfires and can create the opposite effect than what you intend. The problem is simple. Most women already assume that men will possess basic decency. When you go out of your way to emphasize these qualities, it comes across as insecure, as if you're trying too hard to convince her that you're worthy. Instead of letting your actions speak for themselves, you're verbalizing what should already be evident. This shifts the dynamic of the interaction. She may begin to feel like she's doing you a favor by being with you, because you've made it clear that you're eager to prove your value rather than simply embodying it. This type of behavior is a sign of low confidence. Rather than creating an image of a man who is comfortable with who he is, it makes a picture of someone who needs constant validation. Attraction in any relationship is often rooted in mutual respect and appreciation, not one person striving to prove their worth. If you're always selling yourself, it can make her feel like she's constantly on the receiving end of a pitch, which takes the natural flow out of the relationship. Attraction is more about presence than it is about lists of accomplishments. Women are drawn to men who display confidence and authenticity. Instead of over-qualifying yourself, simply be who you are. Let your actions and attitudes speak for themselves. These traits will naturally become apparent when you genuinely live out the qualities you value in yourself, whether it's kindness, discipline, or loyalty. Women feel attraction when they see these qualities embodied in a man's actions, rather than hearing them recited as a resume. Confidence doesn't require constant explanation. It's shown in the way you carry yourself, in the way you interact with others, and in the way you treat her. When a man is secure in himself, his value is clear without explanation. He doesn't need to assert his worth because his behavior does it for him. One common mistake that men make is thinking that showing vulnerability or admitting past mistakes will somehow disqualify them from being good enough. On the contrary, showing vulnerability, without over-explaining or making it into a plea for sympathy, can be a powerful tool for connection. It makes you human and relatable. However, this must be balanced with the understanding that vulnerability doesn't equal weakness. It means you are secure enough in who you are to acknowledge imperfection. Instead of bombarding her with a list of why you're a good catch, focus on fostering a connection based on mutual interests, shared values, and most importantly, the ability to be present in the moment. The less you sell yourself, the more naturally she'll begin to see you for who you are, without the need for explanation. Being authentic and confident in your skin will speak louder than any words you could say. When you embody these qualities naturally, You create a dynamic where she is drawn to you for who you are, not because of what you've told her. The best relationships are built on this organic attraction, an unspoken understanding of mutual respect, where both partners recognize each other's value without constant reminders. Remember that the most powerful thing you can do is simply show up as yourself. There's no need for overqualification. Just be confident, be present, and allow her to experience you as the man you are. Now, let's find the most correct and accurate ways to approach girls. 1. Creating instant attraction. When sparking attraction, the right approach often hinges on a subtle balance between confidence, humor, and playful challenge. A man's ability to use humor and wit to connect with a woman can instantly change the dynamic of their interaction, creating a magnetic energy that goes beyond surface-level attraction. It's about showing confidence without being needy, and demonstrating your interest in her without appearing desperate for validation. Take the classic scenario where a woman shares something personal with you. For instance, she might say, "I'm really into yoga and meditation." The most typical response from a man might be, "Oh, cool, what got you into that?" While this answer is polite and non-confrontational, it's also too agreeable. It doesn't create any excitement or intrigue, it's just a simple request for information that makes the interaction feel flat and uninspired. A much better response would be to playfully tease her, saying, "Oh, so you're a hippie then?" This response does a few things that immediately change the energy of the conversation. First, it shows confidence. Instead of meekly agreeing with her or just asking another question, you're taking a playful jab at something she said. It's light-hearted, fun, and shows that you're not afraid to challenge her. The second reason this approach works so well is that it positions you in a dominant but non-threatening way. You're not putting her down or trying to put her on the defensive. Instead, you're creating a dynamic where you're in the one-up role. This is essential because it sparks attraction without needing long, drawn-out conversations or heavy flirting. It's simple and fun, and it signals that you do not need to seek approval, but rather someone who can engage with her on a deeper, more playful level. Why is this so effective? Women are naturally drawn to men with a sense of humor and can playfully challenge them. It creates an energy of excitement and unpredictability. The interaction becomes predictable and less engaging when you're too agreeable or eager to please. But when you bring a little playful teasing into the mix, it keeps things dynamic. It shows that you have a sense of independence and are comfortable enough in your skin to joke around and not take everything seriously. This approach also taps into the psychology of attraction by making her feel intrigued. When you can playfully challenge her or tease her in a light-hearted way, it opens the door for deeper interaction. It makes her wonder what you're thinking, your personality, and whether you might be someone worth pursuing. In relationships, men often think they must be ultra-serious or entirely in sync with a woman's interests to create a meaningful connection. While shared interests can help, they are not the key to instant attraction. By using playful humor and a bit of teasing, you instantly differentiate yourself from the pack. You move away from being just another guy trying to impress and step into the role of someone with a magnetic personality who can spark her curiosity and keep her coming back for more. So, the next time you find yourself conversing with a woman, instead of defaulting to agreeable responses or simply asking questions to fill the silence, take a chance and playfully challenge her. Whether it's teasing her about her yoga routine or joking about a shared interest, use humor to create a dynamic interaction that will draw her to you more. Confidence, humor, and a little playful teasing are the keys to unlocking attraction, and they don't require you to say anything too elaborate or engage in lengthy conversations. Sometimes the most straightforward and playful responses can create powerful connections. 2. Why confidence is easier than seeking approval. It's a common belief that gaining a woman's attention requires constant effort, validation, and approval. Many men believe they must please, perform, or continually prove their worth to be noticed or loved. But the truth is, being insecure and seeking constant approval is much more complicated than simply being confident. The problem lies in the way most men were raised. From a young age, many were taught to seek approval, whether it was from their parents, peers, or authority figures. This constant pursuit of validation becomes ingrained in their behavior. As a result, they approach dating with a mindset that effort equals results. If they try hard enough, they think they will receive the attention and affection they desire. But dating, much like attraction, is not a logical equation, where effort always equals success. The more complex a man works to gain approval, the more distant and disconnected he may become from what he seeks. Women are not drawn to men who appear needy, desperate, or overly eager to please. When a man constantly looks for validation, it can come across as a lack of confidence, which is an immediate turn-off. Women want a partner who is secure in themselves, someone who doesn't require constant reassurance. This doesn't mean being arrogant or aloof, but it does mean understanding that attraction is not something you can force or earn by jumping through hoops. The solution to this is surprisingly simple. Stop overthinking. The more you try to control how others perceive you, the more you're missing out on what truly matters: authentic connection. Attraction is emotional, not logical. It's about how you make someone feel, not how much you do or say to gain their approval. When you shift your focus from seeking validation to simply being confident in who you are, the energy you bring into the room changes. You're no longer trying to win anyone over. You're just being yourself. Confidence is built through habits, not by seeking external approval. Start small by practicing flirting, teasing, and maintaining eye contact. These simple actions develop your self-assurance and naturally draw people to you. Flirting, for example, is a playful way to show interest without the pressure of needing validation. Teasing creates a light-hearted dynamic, making interactions more fun and engaging. Holding eye contact is a simple yet powerful way to convey confidence, showing you're present and comfortable in your skin. Rather than constantly seeking approval, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Confidence is magnetic. Others are drawn to you when you embody it. The process is gradual, but the results are lasting. Once you embrace this mindset, you'll realize that trying to please others or overexerting efforts to gain approval is unnecessary. Confidence is the key, and it's far easier than seeking validation. When you stop trying so hard, the attraction truly begins. 3. Flirting and sexual tension, the missing key. Flirting can be a source of confusion for many men. They often think they're not naturally good at it, so they shy away from engaging in playful exchanges. But here's the truth. Flirting is not some mysterious art, reserved only for the naturally charming. It's a skill, one that anyone can learn and master with a bit of practice. A simple, confident gesture or a quick, playful comment can completely change the dynamic of your interaction with a woman. Flirting isn't about grand gestures or clever lines. It's about creating a subtle spark, an undercurrent of tension that hints at attraction without being overly forward. It's about playfulness, lightness, and showing confidence in a way that doesn't require perfection. Sometimes, all it takes is a slight change in expressing yourself. For example, instead of simply saying, "That's cool," you might try something like, "Oh, so you're one of those meditation people," with a teasing smirk. That one slight adjustment creates a playful tension, a moment of chemistry, and, most importantly, it signals to her that you're comfortable with her and yourself. This is where many men miss the mark. They overthink flirting and end up not doing it. They get caught in a cycle of self-doubt, worrying about saying the wrong thing or coming off too forward. But here's the reality. Women are drawn to men who are confident enough to express interest in a light and fun way. If you're too serious, rigid, or passive, the attraction doesn't have room to grow. The key is to make the exchange feel natural, effortless, and just a bit daring. Think about it. When you see someone you're interested in, the goal isn't to win them over with perfection. It's to build an engaging dynamic and create some tension that hints at the possibility of something more. Minor flirtatious remarks, confident eye contact, or even a playful gesture can communicate more than words ever could. The trick is not to overanalyze or freeze up in fear of rejection. Instead, embrace the moment and show her that you can be relaxed and confident. Someone who knows how to have fun and build attraction without the pressure of trying too hard. Remember, flirting isn't about impressing her, but creating a connection. It's about showing her you can be severe, playful, thoughtful, and spontaneous. It's about signaling that you're open to the possibility of something more while still respecting the moment. So don't shy away from those moments of flirtation. Let your playful side shine and watch how the dynamic shifts. With confidence and the right attitude, you'll find that flirting isn't as difficult as you once thought. It's just another way to make her feel seen, appreciated, and intrigued by you. Proof that this works. Real-life success stories often provide the most compelling proof that a change in approach can yield remarkable results. Take, for instance, a man who was once insecure and unsure of himself. He had struggled to build connections, often second-guessing his actions and seeking approval from the women he was interested in. But when he shifted his mindset, stopped looking for validation, and started creating attraction, everything changed. He caught the attention of his yoga instructor, someone he had previously admired from afar. What once seemed impossible suddenly became a reality when he stopped doubting himself and allowed his confidence to shine. Then there's the story of a man who, through embracing the right mindset and actions, found himself in a completely different situation. He slept with 3 other women in 3 days. This wasn't about manipulating or being disingenuous. It was about recognizing that women are attracted to confidence, self-assurance, and authenticity. He no longer sought approval, but let his personality and charm guide the way. When he stopped focusing on what he thought others wanted and started focusing on what he wanted and who he indeed was, the results came almost effortlessly. And another man, a seemingly ordinary guy, met an attractive woman on the beach. The connection was instant. There was no awkwardness, no forced small talk, just an undeniable chemistry that sparked between them. He hadn't tried to impress her with flashy gestures or over-the-top lines. Instead, he approached her as he would anyone else, confident in himself and his intentions. This laid-back, genuine approach drew her in, and it was a testament to how creating attraction naturally works when you stop seeking approval. These success stories are not anomalies. They result from men who recognize the importance of shifting their focus from validation to genuine connection. When a man stops trying to win a woman's approval and begins focusing on cultivating attraction instead, things fall into place effortlessly. Women are attracted to men who are confident in their skin, unafraid to express their personality, and comfortable enough to let things unfold naturally. The key takeaway from these real-life examples is simple. When you stop seeking approval and start creating attraction, results follow. Whether with a yoga instructor, multiple women in a short period, or a random connection on the beach, the formula remains the same. The shift in mindset from approval-seeking to attraction-building is what makes the difference. When you approach women with confidence, authenticity, and a clear sense of who you are, you create the space for deeper connections that naturally evolve into something more meaningful. Final secret: why this is so effective. Most men unknowingly operate under the assumption that winning a woman over requires consistent effort and giving all they have to earn her affection. They think she will eventually fall for them if they work hard enough, through constant attention, validation, or always being available. However, this assumption misses the mark on what drives attraction. Women don't seek effort alone. They seek emotional connection, which is sparked not by logic but by emotion. The core difference between attracting a woman and simply trying to win her approval lies in how a man positions himself. The man constantly seeking approval places himself in a one-down position, almost as if he's trying to prove his worthiness to her. This approach comes from a place of insecurity, and while it might seem noble in intent, it doesn't build genuine attraction. What it does instead is create an imbalance in the relationship dynamic. She is in control, holding the power, while he scrambles to keep her interested. On the other hand, the playfully confident man understands something crucial. Attraction isn't about begging for attention. It's about creating a dynamic where the woman feels like she has to earn his interests. This subtle shift in mindset flips the power dynamic. Instead of constantly vying for her approval, he's creating an environment where she has to work for his attention. This is what makes real intrigue. When a woman feels that she has to put in some effort, she views the relationship differently. She doesn't see him as just one of many options. She sees him as someone special, worthy of her attention, and someone she must actively pursue. This makes her feel lucky to be with him, rather than simply grateful that he's showing interest. This approach is not about playing games or being disingenuous. It's about confidently embracing who you are and knowing your value. It's about being emotionally available, but also not losing yourself in the process of seeking affection. By positioning yourself as desirable with a life and passions outside of the relationship, you make yourself stand out in her eyes. You shift from being a man chasing validation to one who is secure in his worth. For a woman, emotional attraction comes from connection, mystery, and the sense that she must work a little to get close to someone. When you embody playful confidence, it sparks curiosity. It engages her emotionally in ways that constant validation and approval can't. She feels more drawn to you not because of how much effort you put into impressing her, but because she can sense that you are a man who is comfortable with who he is. This makes her naturally lean in, creating the emotional pull that keeps her returning. The result is that the woman feels lucky to have your attention. She's not just being pursued by a man constantly at her beck and call. Instead, she invests emotionally because she sees your value and wants to be part of your life. And in the process, you build a dynamic where the attraction is mutual, both parties are engaged, and the relationship feels balanced and fulfilling. Ultimately, confidence is a man's most attractive trait, not the constant need for approval. When you stop trying to win her over through effort alone and start letting her feel that she has to earn your attention, the emotional chemistry will follow naturally. Women want to feel that they are in a relationship with a secure, playful, and emotionally intelligent man. not one who is simply trying to please. You'll see how effortless attraction can be when you make that shift. Most men make the mistake of thinking they need to work hard to win a woman's approval when, in reality, attraction isn't something you earn, it's something you trigger. The more effort you put into proving yourself, the more you signal neediness, instantly lowering your value. Women don't fall for men who seek validation. They're drawn to those who naturally create emotional excitement. The key isn't agreeing with everything she says, suppressing your interest, or listing your best qualities like a resume. That only makes you seem unsure of your worth. Instead, attraction is built through playful confidence, teasing, and not taking interactions too seriously. You shift the dynamic when you subtly challenge her, hold intense eye contact, and flirt without hesitation. Suddenly, she's the one working to earn your attention. Most men overcomplicate dating because they believe logic and effort will win women, but attraction is rooted in emotion. A confident man who flirts effortlessly will always be more compelling than the guy who over-explains why he's a great catch. Stop trying to be liked. Stop chasing approval. Instead, lean into playfulness, embrace tension, and watch how women naturally respond to the energy you bring. Have you experienced this in your own dating life? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on confidence, attraction, and effortless dating success.